Hi guys. So today we're going to talk about how to write for Rubric 6 on the edTPA. Rubric 6 is associated with prompts 1 and 2. And this is for elementary math and elementary literacy. Although across the different handbooks, you'll find a great deal of similarity between content areas for Rubric 6. So um, let's get started. One of the things that you have to keep in mind is that in order to do well on task 2, you have to remember that the primary source of evidence for the scores is actually the video evidence itself. So keep that in mind. You need to know what needs to be recorded before you start recording. You really ought to know what needs to be recorded before you plan your learning segment. But when you are writing for task 2, remember that the questions are in past tense and you need to answer in past tense. When possible, use words from the prompts themselves and the rubrics. Make yourself a word bank. In the rubrics, you'll see the words that are bolded. That's because you need to be using those words. Those are the Easter eggs that the scores are going to be hunting for. So you're going to find 2 clips, and everybody's own handbook tells them the length of their clips. And you will find that information in your evidence chart, which is around page 44-ish of your handbook. Again, everyone's is different. So um, you need to find examples of as many of these things as possible. Demonstrate respect towards students, not the other way around. You demonstrate rapport with students. You demonstrate responsiveness towards students with varied needs or backgrounds. You provide students with challenging but low risk environment. You engage students in your SSE. Now, if you remember the SSE for like math, that's conceptual understanding, procedural fluency, mathematical reasoning or problem solving. And for literacy, that's like your literacy strategy and related skills. You linked prior learning, you linked personal community assets, you elicited and built on student learning, and you used subject-specific pedagogy. So the best thing to do is to start by coming up with a video analysis tool to organize your evidence. Now, if you're in my class, you'll find these on D2L. Those of you who are not, you can often Google video analysis tool for edTPA, and you'd be surprised what will come up. Um, or you can make your own. So these are the things that, for example, this person, when they made theirs, this is for Rubric 6. Characteristic of positive learning environment. Here are the things we're looking for. And then here you write down the video segment with the timestamps that demonstrate this characteristic. So while you still have all of your footage before you've done any clipping, go through looking for these things. And here this might say clip number 1, timestamp 15 through 18. And then make a note to yourself as how that clip demonstrated the characteristic. What you want to try to do is get these things as close as possible on 2 different clips. You can talk about 2 different clips here, but you do need to make sure that they are in those 10-minute segments, because what you can't do is start putting things together. Okay, so let's look at prompt 1. Prompt 1 is very straightforward. It says which lesson or lessons are shown in the video clips. So all you're doing is identifying. You're saying we are going to be using clip 1 is from lesson 1, clip 3 is from lesson 2 or 5. They could even both be from the same lesson, although I don't recommend that. There's nothing wrong with it. No description here is necessary. You just need to identify. Always pay attention to those verbs in the prompts. Okay, here's some writing tips that I want to give you. When you are writing, you need to make your evidence as plain as day. Remember what I've said about hiding Easter eggs for a 2-year-old. You put them out there in plain sight. Make finding the evidence easy for your scorer so your scorer has no problem at all with knowing what needs to be on the clip, what they can find so I'm not alone, as you can see. And an example of when I demonstrated with students can be seen on. So again, these are straight from the rubrics. An example of when I demonstrated rapport with the students can be seen on clip number, timestamp blank. Describe what's going on, why it demonstrates rapport. Give other examples if you can. And so again, here's another type of one. I have provided a challenging learning environment. So you can actually bold these things, these words, underline them if it takes up less space. Do something that makes them stick out. And that's actually a pretty good thing to do. So your first paragraph that you're going to write is going to be from prompt 2A. Looking at that question, how did you, that's an important word, demonstrate mutual respect for, rapport with, and responsiveness to students with varied needs and backgrounds, and challenge students to engage in learning? So if you're unsure about the difference between respect and rapport and responsiveness to students' needs, you can find these things in your glossary of your handbook. They're also discussed in the Making Good Choices document, and you can look up in your URL, your Understanding Rubric Level Progression. That document, if you'll look at Rubric 6, it gives an explanation and some examples of what these things might look like. But what you're going to write for your first paragraph is an example of when I demonstrated respect for students can be seen on clip number blank at timestamp blank. Now remember, you're starting out with your video analysis tool where you are using the big clips. Once you actually make the clips, these timestamps are going to change. So now you're going to make clip 1, and so the timestamp, which before would have been 15 to 18 or whatever, now it's going to be something like timestamp 3 to 5, but it'll be within that number of 1 to 10. So you're going to describe what's going on now in this clip, and you're going to tell why it demonstrates rapport. So even though the primary source of evidence for all of task 2, well, rubric 6, 7, and 8, 6, 7, 8, and 9, even though the primary source of evidence is the video, what you write guides the scorer in helping them understand what to look for and where to look for it and why you think this is what it is. So making those good, strong arguments and justifying what you're doing. Also, prompt 2 is pretty long because you need to write another paragraph for paragraph 2 is about responsiveness to students with varied needs and backgrounds. An example of when I demonstrated responsiveness. So you want to start out, here's a good sentence frame for you. Clip number, timestamp, describe the needs. You need to describe those student needs that are being met in your example, and describe how you demonstrated responsiveness. Justify why this is responsive. If you can find other examples, that's good, but actually you'll find out from looking at making good choices, and the EARL, that just one really good example is all a person needs. One good, strong example is better than 5 weak ones, for example. Okay, paragraph 3. This is about challenging but low risk environment. And basically, what we're wanting to do is students to feel challenged and not afraid in our classrooms, so they can take risks and they can raise their hand and answer a question when they think, okay, this could be wrong, but it doesn't really matter because this is a low risk environment. That's what that means. So I have provided a challenging learning environment by blah, 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 blah. This can be seen. There's your sentence stem. Explain why, how it's challenging. And then you can say, I have provided a low risk environment by, and justify your answer. Paragraph 4. So this is about how you promoted mutual respect. Okay, so the thing of it is that you're getting credit here for what you do, not what the students do. So even though your students may be respectful to one another, you want to make sure you're making it known to the person who's scoring your video that the reason they're being respectful is because that's the expectation in the classroom. So you can remind students to take turns, listen to one another's, you can remind them to listen to one another. You can praise them for showing respect to one another. So if it is something that they don't need reminding about because they always do it, take the opportunity to praise them. You can say, oh, John, that was fantastic the way you listened to Sally when she explained that. Thank you very much. And so this shows that this is the established norm in your classroom, but taking the time to praise them shows how you promote that mutual respect. And can you think of any other examples when you promoted? So these are some things that, again, you want to come up with a good, strong example or try to make your case with lesser ones. All right, we've got paragraph 5, and paragraph 5 has to do with explaining any opportunities for students to express varied perspectives. So this is something that we need to promote, right, in our classroom, is them listening to one another, having mutual respect, but actually letting students feel like they can express different opinions and that those different opinions will be listened to and different and varied perspectives. So did you give students the opportunity to do this? First of all, what did you do that gave them opportunity to express different ideas and opinions? And how did you encourage them? Now, it could be that you encourage students to express different ideas and opinions, and maybe they just didn't do it. But you still need to encourage it, even if you're pulling teeth and it's just not getting you anywhere. It still needs to be there. So let's look at some examples. So this one is, looks like it's a literacy example. Notice this person has bolded the words respect, seen on clip 1, timestamp says she's used my sentence stem. And she talks about how she demonstrated respect. I demonstrated respect. Then she explains it. She gives another example. I also asked. You can see another way, respect. So look how it just draws your eyes as a reader. Your eyes are just naturally drawn to these bolded words. Clip 2, respect. So as a scorer, I immediately can look and say, oh, I can go look here at clip 2 and see rapport. And so it's just an excellent example. Here's the rest of it, because as you know, it's about 5 paragraphs long. Prompt 2 is, I demonstrated responsiveness. There's your clip numbers, challenging learning environment, low risk environment. She specifically is talking about that here. I promoted mutual respect. Very good. My students had many opportunities to express their varied perspectives. One example of when a student expressed their varied perspectives can see be seen, and then she gives the clip. So that's really great. Great job. And here's one for math. I like the way this person has put space in between her paragraphs. Makes it easy to read. I think the reason that this student didn't do it is because she wrote so much. And that's fine. She didn't go over the page limit. But as you can see that this separation here is very easy for scorers. So again, they're following a pattern in their writing that also helps scorers find the evidence. So the first sentence, they're saying demonstrated respect, demonstrated responsiveness, in that first sentence. Then they give the place where it was and they describe it. Very good, very good. And then here's the second page of that. Job. So if you look at the learning environment, rubric 6, then we find some things here. First of all, paragraph 1 establishes that you did demonstrate respect. If that's all you've got, it's just a level 2. It's not enough for a 3. Look what it says here. Candidate provides learning environment that serves primarily to control student behavior and minimally supports learning goals. Paragraph 1 and 3 support your level 3. Rapport, respect, positive low-risk learning environment that reveals mutual respect among students. Paragraphs 1 and 4 get you a level 4. Again, rapport and respect, same as this, but now we're adding not just the positive low-risk environment, but we're adding a challenging learning environment that promotes mutual respect. To get to a level 5, you need to have all of those things, rapport and respect, low-risk learning environment, mutual respect among students, and opportunities to express varied perspectives. That's paragraphs 1 through 5, all of it. Okay, so the next time we talk, we'll be looking at prompt 3A and happy writing. I hope that it's going well for you, and I look forward to seeing you in class.